time. I know, but do you mind?
When you bully women,
This is
when
ridiculous.
you put workers in them, when you cover them, lock them up,
Okay.
and when it comes to
We've got a
Christian
discussion.
men, you can't defend
We're having
it.
a
It's a
discussion.
misogynistic religion. It's a false religion. That's what you were telling people.
Show good Christian manners. Show good Christian manners, and let us have a conversation. You can go and scream and shout elsewhere. I don't wish to talk to you. Do you mind?
Then
Yeah.
don't speak to me either.
Okay, well then don't shout. Don't shout in my cameras.
Shush me.
Anyway,
Whole park over there.
it's okay. Thank you, brother. Okay, so
In Islam,
my
women
argument
have no
is-
rights.
my
This
argument
not
is-
true in Islam.
my argument is
That's why he wants to address
that
the
if
fact
it
that
had an
Quran mentions
infinite
more than
amount of
50
time,
times that you need to read the Torah
then
and
it's
the
reasonable
Gospel.
to expect
The Quran doesn't
every
say that. You
possible,
cannot produce an alternative.
action
Your Quran says
that
you
could
need
have
to
come
read the Gospel
out
like you read
of
Muslims.
this necessary existence would have already come into existence. Correct? Would that be reasonable?
I can see that.
Right. But our universe came into existence 14.3 billion years ago.
We'll see if the shape comes back to
13.8, yeah.
13.8, sorry, billion years ago.
That will just prove
Therefore, there could not have been an infinite amount of time for it to come into existence from merely a domino effect falling.
I can defend my God. I'm not even.
Because it came into existence 14.8 billion years ago.
Yeah, but
time
For us.
Yes, for us.
Exactly. Not for the necessary
I don't
existence.
know what happened before then. I don't know what the alternatives were.
But my
I don't
point,
have
my
any multiverses.
I understand. But Hassan, my point is, I think, quite succinct. In so much as if every action has an infinite amount of time to come into existence or to be activated, then it's reasonable that every action has already had an infinite amount of time for all of those dominoes to have fallen. Every possible action. So if we do see a beginning for something,
which can include pedophilia,
that seems reasonable that whatever this first cause
do you agree
was,
with this?
had a conscious decision to bring it into existence at a particular time. You don't think that?
That just proves you
No,
can't
because if
defend
you're saying
religion.
if you say there were 100 possible outcomes,
Yeah.
we could have been 64. Something was coming outside of our local representation space. So, that doesn't suggest any conscious.
Okay. I would humbly disagree, and I'll tell you why. Because I think, as I said to you, how would we know about the necessary existence, since in reality it becomes a philosophical discussion, not a scientific one. Well, I agree, right?
I can.
Now,
What are you gonna do
I
about
think,
it?
I think,
I'm talking to the crowd.
now, I think that
I can do whatever I
since the
want.
first cause we have
Are
agreed
you speaking to me?
existed eternally, and we've agreed that the functions of all reactions from the first cause were not controlled. Do you mind? Do you mind? You're being abusive. You're being abusive. Can you please go away? Can you go away?
You wear a hijab.
Can you go away?
You don't wear it.
Can you go away?
You're a sex slave.
It's utterly ridiculous.
You know this, madam.
No manners. You have no manners whatsoever. Absolutely no manners whatsoever.
We're recording a discussion,
I mean, I
and
don't
you're
really
just standing in the way of the camera. Just
This is what they unfortunately are now are limited to. I would like you to. I don't talk to ignorant people. Go away.
I can talk to the crowd.
I can understand why people. I can understand why people run away from people of religion, especially when it's people like yourself. In any case. So I think it's a reasonable argument. Do you understand my argument? Yeah. The other thing is that in our universe,
I can do what I want if I want.
I think the only way for us to
No, that's what
differentiate- differentiate between. Anis, shall we move? Because this is. Can we move over there? Shall we move over there?
Your woman cannot go out on her own. She needs a guardian because if something happens,
Just leave her, leave her.
It's gonna be her fault.
Let dogs bark. It's better. Let the dogs bark. So I would say, Hassan, quite humbly, is that if you contemplate on these things, I think the more reasonable position. I think the more reasonable position. I think the more reasonable position actually is that whatever this first cause was, it brought our universe 13.8 billion years ago. And I think that to me indicates that it's not just a domino effect infinitely. I think the other thing that's interesting is that how can we establish if this first cause, I can't even have a discussion. She is, brother, just ignore her, please. You're making more noise than she is. Brother, brother, please. Just ignore her. So, yeah.
It's because
let's carry on.
so
I can see your point, but I'm not convinced that there is any reason why there had to be a conscious way.
Because women have no human rights.
Sorry, there had to be a what, sorry?
Conscious. Muslim women do. Do you think they're happy to be there? The hijab causes them alopecia. They don't get any sunshine. It is an evil ideology, and I will speak against it. And you cannot defend it. None of you can defend it.
Just ignore her.
Go and tell the police.
I'm not saying there's no crime, we're just having a conversation.
Is that what Christians need to be learning manners? You need the police. You need the police to be taught manners.
Why do women wear
Didn't your mum teach you manners?
Why do women
Didn't your mum and dad teach you manners? Huh? You need the police to teach you manners. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. You got no manners at all.
We don't need clothes. خلاص.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you okay with having sex slaves?
No, we treat our women as diamonds. They have to be
and what
covered.
about
Anyway,
the sex slaves?
so
Decency in
Hassan,
that.
what I would say to you is that if we accept that is one of the reasonable possibilities, we can then, I think, investigate as to whether this entity, if it exists, has somehow contacted us in some way to make us aware of what this entity is and what is expected from us. And I would say that if you look at, for example, that poster there. No, it's not actually.
It is.
And I'll tell you why it's not.
It's subjective, totally.
I'll tell you why it's not. I think that there are things within it that in reality, if a linguist, somebody who is an expert of classical Arabic language, and there are many non-Muslims by the way, and that when they look at that, they realize that the very composition itself is impossible for. Yeah. Okay.
You're proud of that. You're proud of that. You're proud of that.
What happened to you, man?
Everyone believes in Jesus.
I mean, it's unfortunate. I know it's so difficult to have a conversation. I know. I thought we could have a nice conversation. Oh, he's calling us over there. Anis, don't go too far because you need to keep an eye on the cameras and stuff, innit? You're on your own, aren't you? Is it? Are we over here? Just come this. Okay.
Yeah.
So okay. So
we're talking about that.
Yeah.
I mean, firstly, I think you can get some. Yeah, right. You can look at, say, a work of fiction, literary work of fiction, and you can make up the same criteria. But even if you've never found something like it, firstly, that doesn't mean that the original was from God. And secondly, it's subjective because there are subjective claims in there saying, it has to have had this profound significance or something like this.
The most profound choice of words.
Something like that, yeah, which is subjective. I mean, I could get the world's best artist, get him to make a painting, and then I can put him in a dungeon, and I can show this painting, and I can say to people, this was painted by God. If you don't believe me, make a painting that's like it, and nobody will be able to
or better it, equal to it, or better it.
Yes, and that would, but then even if nobody could equal or better it, that wouldn't necessarily mean the original.
No, look. So the examples that you've provided, I would accept that would be the case, right? And the reason why I would accept that is that we recognize those things, paintings and sculptures or whatever,
Books.
and books, for example, in a very different way, right? From Revelation, I think it's very different, and I'll tell you why.
Okay. Well, revelation is subject.
Of course,
arbitrary, we're not-
but I'll tell you why. On the one side, a painting, from our own experience, is truly a very subjective thing, even amongst the specialists or the experts
So it was a book.
in painting.
So it was a book.
No, but let me just get to the point.
Okay. Sorry.
So, for example, if an artist did make that claim, there would be almost immediately mass disagreements within artists themselves who would pick other paintings to be either superior or equal to. You understand my point? Now, why I believe that this argument is a lot stronger and is very different is that we have had and have linguists who are familiar with the Arabic language and the Quranic classical Arabic language, and have actually said that this is a unique way of even writing the language itself. Even the grammar itself is unique to the Quran. It didn't exist prior to, and it has never been able to be duplicated. We have linguists themselves who are saying that the very words of Muhammad, peace be upon him, and the Quranic Arabic are unique, they're different. The language is different from the language of the Arabs at the time. Yet it uses the same letters and the same words, and in some cases comes up with a different word with actually a more eloquent way of explaining. So it comes with new words, in fact, right?
Although, I mean, they could say there's how the Quran resembles pre-Islamic poetry.
Yes.
Was the Quran plagiarized from all his?
Yeah, of course. So we can look at these claims.
There are
right?
people who make the claims.
Of course they do.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that people don't make the claim.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that the only way of ascertaining whether those claims are actually, they hold any weight, is that you would at least get some consensus within academia themselves. They wouldn't be fringe opinions.
Well, I wouldn't say these ones are fringe.
Well, from my investigation, from what I've please do send them to me. But from my, of course, yeah,
Abdullah's.
yes, not a problem at all, right?
But
So,
you can have a look
so
at
for
those.
example, I would look at